Hello. Hello. I'm telling me if you've ever had this happen to you where you are just walking wherever, maybe it's public, maybe it's in your own home, and you trip and you stumble. And what's the first thing you do? You look like what possibly could have tripped me up? What grabbed my foot? What did I trip over? And you know there's nothing there. But you look for it anyway, don't you? Yes. I had somebody DM me. I sent this out in the email. It was also in a post, but I think it's worth repeating here. I had somebody send me a message and say, I'm doing everything right in my Facebook group. But it's not growing. I'm not getting any comments. Nobody's showing up to my live videos, and I'm not selling anything. I don't know what's wrong. That's the equivalent of what am I tripping over? What's happening? What else is going on that is contributing to this particular situation? And the reality is you're likely tripping over yourself. And that can be super frustrating. So this video right here. This is part 2 of a 2-part series on the 7 common Facebook group mistakes that you need to avoid. And we're talking about how to fix them. But here's the thing: if you missed part 1, don't worry about it. You can still stay with me here. You're still going to get some great value. I'm going to do a quick review, but you might want to make a note, and you might want to be like, yeah, I need to go back and watch part 1. Part 1 is listed. There's a link up above if you want to go to part 1, or if you want in the comments to just type part 1, I will DM it to you so that it's easy to find. Because I know sometimes in the comments when you get links, or you can't never find what you want when you want it, right? But we are going to do a quick review, so you will be good. But here's the cool thing. Part 2, which is today, we're gonna all 4 of these are really focused around content mistakes. And content is our theme for the whole month of June inside the Facebook group, inside of Get on Camera. And today we're specifically talking about content mistakes that you make in your Facebook group. But the whole month we're going to be talking about just content related challenges and issues. So what do I mean by content? Specifically, we're talking about social media. What do you post in your group, on your profile? We will actually do another 2-part series towards the end of this month on personal profile. So it's going to be a good little series. I hope you are as excited about it as I am. It's going to be really good. Okay. Let's review part 1 of this little series. Just one as a refresh. But also for those of you that maybe didn't see part 1, we're not going to go into detail, but I'm just going to cover them kind of bing, bang, boom. Okay. So number 1 is that you do not have a clear purpose for your group, for your members. Really, the question you want to ask yourself is, what's in it for them? What are they getting by being a part of the group? Very important question to ask yourself and answer. Once you have that decided, that's like foundational stuff. Everything else builds on it. Okay. Number 2, you're not growing and adding new members. It is amazing what new people and new interest will do to the engagement inside your Facebook group. Okay. So if you don't have a strategy for adding new members, that's a missed opportunity. Okay. Number 3 is you're not consistent. You may not be posting consistently, showing up live consistency. There's a consistency issue. I will also say, and we talked about this last week, it could also be that you're too consistent. If you are posting the exact same thing every single day of every single week, that's too much consistency. And now you got that issue. So it can be the opposite of that as well. Okay. So what we kind of talked about in there is that, well, actually, let me back up and say this. I don't even think I introduced myself. My gosh, I'm all over the place here today. I think last week I talked about vacation brain and being back from vacation brain. I felt like I was in it, but I can't even use that as an excuse today. But I do want to talk about excuses. So for those of you that are new to me, this is the first time that you're watching one of my videos. My name is Jamie Hain. I am a video and growth coach, and I specialize in Facebook groups. My Facebook group, the Get on Camera group, 2 years ago was very, very dead. And I was full of excuses. I was the one tripping over myself, looking at what else was going on because it had to be something else tripping me up. And what I had to really kind of get solid with here is the same advice that I gave the person who sent me that DM message. It's likely a content issue. right? If you're doing everything right and you're not growing and you're not getting comments and nobody's showing up live and you're not making any money, you got a content problem. And if it's not a content problem, you've got some sort of gap in your Facebook group strategy. And that is what I had to acknowledge and realize about myself, that that's what was going on. There was nobody else I could point the finger to but me to fix my Facebook group. And I went on this journey of turning it around. And that's now what you all are learning from me. And that's actually what has driven me to create a Facebook group self-assessment, which, by the way, if you've not downloaded that sucker, you need to go and get it. The link is up above. And if you are not yet enrolled for Ignite Your Facebook Group, this is the time to join. If you need help with your content, with your strategy, it's so much more than just the mechanics of Facebook. It's not what are all of the tools and settings and all of that, although we talk about that. It is about how to monetize your Facebook group. It is how to make your Facebook group part of your business strategy, your sales funnel, if you will. It is such a great program. And that's not just me talking about it. We just wrapped up the last cohort. And one of the cool things that everybody said was, when I do these things, when I apply these strategies, there are 6 of them, I can see the difference it makes in my Facebook group. Yeah. Super powerful stuff. Super powerful stuff. Anyway, I have 2 coupons left for $200 off if that is something of interest. I also did a 12-month payment plan for somebody, and it ended up being $58. $58 a month. That's so ridiculously affordable. So if this is of interest to you, the link is up above, or message me. Where's my phone? Message me and we'll chat about it. Okay. So that was the first 3. Are you ready for the last 4? Are you ready? Let me check and see if there are any comments here. Hold on. Let me get my phone up. It's been really kind of a stinker today. Okay. Oh, now I'm up a volume going. All right. Oh, it's so good to see you. I've seen some faces, some names and faces that you haven't been on in a while. Where have you been? It's good to see you. Okay. You all are liking the tripping analogy. Yeah, I trip over stuff all the time. Okay. Content is a major issue. Yep. I hear you. I hear you. Let's work on that. Let me help you work on that. We're going to spend time on it this month. But I'm telling you, Ignite is something that's going to help you so much. Okay. I don't see any questions. So let's talk about the next 4. Okay. We covered the first 3. Let's talk about the next 4. Number 4, you're out of balance. You are out of balance between showing up as an authority and sharing expertise and creating engagement for your community. You need both inside your Facebook group. If you're too heavy on one side, it can feel like you're doing a lot of talking at your members. And they're not going to feel like it's a community. They're not going to feel part of it. They're not going to feel engaged. Okay. If you're all engagement and you've got no authority, great. You got a lot of activity, but you're going nowhere because nobody's buying anything because you're not showing up as an authority. So you've got to balance both sides of these. Okay. So what I would tell you to do is a little bit of an evaluation. Go back and look at what you're doing in your Facebook group. Like, get out a piece of paper and write down every post that you've done for a month. And then put a little A or a little E. Was that an authority post? Were you telling people stuff, promoting stuff? Or was it an E meant for engagement? And what's your mix? Okay. You want to be as close to 50-50 as possible. My guess is if you're struggling with this one, you're way off one way or the other. Okay. So balance between those 2 things. Okay. Nobody wants to be talked at all the time. We want to be involved. We want to participate, create that environment in your Facebook group. All right. Number 5, you're not promoting your stuff. Maybe that could be just a period on the end. You're not doing it at all. But the answer is you're probably not doing it enough. Now, it is also true that you could be doing it too much, but we'll talk about that in a second. So one of the questions I always get from people is, well, how much am I supposed to be? I don't want it to be all spammy and sleazy and blah, blah. Okay, so here's what I will tell you. One of the things that if I could go back in time and tell myself some bit of advice, this one right here would be the advice. Talk about it more. You shouldn't have to. How many posts do you have to scroll through on your personal profile or in your Facebook group to see what you're promoting, offering, selling. If it's a lot of scrolling, this is an issue. Okay. You also want to combine things. So if you, whatever you're talking about, if you're going live, whatever else, there needs to be some element of promoting whatever you've got going on right along with it. It's like habit stacking almost. Okay. I hear what you say. A lot of people say, I don't want it to be salesy or pushy or whatever else. Okay. My guess is you are so far away from hitting that, you got plenty of room to amp it up a little bit. The best advice that I can give you here is you should be so flippin' excited about your offers and programs that you want everybody to know about it. Okay. The example I often give, hold on, let me get a prop here. Hold on. Let me get a prop here. Uh-oh, where is it? Here we go. I love these glitter pens. I love glitter pens in general, but I especially love these glitter pens. And you know what? Every chance I get, I tell people, you need glitter pens? You need to buy this brand. You need glitter pens? Oh my gosh, you know where I bought these? Actually, this was a gift from the wonderful Stephanie Lee. I still talk about him, Stephanie Lee. This is how you should be about your own offers. That you want people to know about it. Oh my gosh, this is such a good program. This is going to help you so much. This is the kind of results you're going to get, that you want to talk about it all the time. If you don't, you might have an offer challenge. You might not be pumped up about your offer. Okay. All right. So your action item again here with this one is take a look at how often and how you're going to be promoting your offers. Okay. That's that habit stacking in there. Okay. So we've talked about 4 and 5. Let me stop and look at comments here. Make sure there's no questions. Okay. Balance, promoting. Okay. Mary Beth says promoting is hard. Okay. Hopefully what I just talked about feeling better about your own offers will help with that. Okay. Really focus on being excited about and recognizing the results that your programs get. Focus on the results. It's going to help them just as much as it helps you feel better about it. Okay. But oftentimes, and Mary Beth, if you want to tell me why it's hard, I'll absolutely either, talk about it if I see it fast enough, or I'll come back and comment later. Oftentimes what we feel like is that we have this notion or this mindset that selling is icky, right? We think used car salesman ickiness. Well, yeah. If you're selling and promoting that way, it would feel icky. We had our Go Live lead call, which is my membership program, just right before this. And one of the things that we were talking about in there is that oftentimes things feel icky, and yucky and slimy and whatever else. And that's our own bias. It's our own limiting beliefs, if you will, that are keeping us from there. You don't have to do it the way that makes you feel icky and yucky. You've got to find your way of doing it. You got to feel what makes it comfortable for you. So you don't have to do it a yucky, sleazy, slimy way. There are positive ways to do it. I promote all the time. I've promoted in this live. I have promo posts in my group, and I don't feel icky or salesy about it. And I hope you don't feel icky or salesy about it. The other thing that really can help here is the more value you give. And I feel like I give a lot of value. I give a lot of tips and insights, and I do, oh my gosh, so much training. And it's not just like fluffy, generic training. It is really good stuff. And so I feel like that makes me feel more comfortable, more empowered to say, because you're getting so much value, I feel comfortable making you this offer. All I'm doing is inviting you to consider. I'm not twisting your arm. I'm not saying you must do this. I'm not being over your head. I'm just saying, hey, you know what? I've got the next version of Ignite is coming out, and here's the results that you can get. And here's what the program is all about. Check it out. Come join us. It can be that simple. Okay. Let me see if Mary Beth commented here on, okay, Mary Beth says it feels weird bragging about myself. Okay, brag about your clients. Brag about the people that have done your programs or that have worked with you. Brag about their results. Brag about the results they've gotten by working with you. That often will feel way more natural and authentic. Glad you shared that. Thanks, Mary Beth. Okay. Okay. All right. That was 4 and 5. Balance, is off between the two, and you're not promoting enough. Okay. Number 6. We've talked about this before. I talked about it a lot last month. In fact, if you missed any of the trainings last month, which was all about Facebook groups, let's connect. Message me or in the comments say last month, and I will get you caught up on anything that you may have missed last month. But we talked about this one a lot. And here's what you kind of have to recognize. There are 10 million Facebook groups. 10 million Facebook groups, which means times have changed from even 2 years ago, but especially 5 years ago. What got it done inside of Facebook groups then no longer works today because there's more supply. There's more options. People get to choose because there's plenty of it out there. So if you're trying to still get by on generic stuff, free stuff that nobody gets value from, you got a content issue. You got a juicy content issue, right? I am not suggesting that you have to give away your secret sauce, that you have to give away everything that you teach inside your programs, but you got to give a little bit. Oftentimes, I think there's been so much in the last few years of people who've gotten ripped off and scammed, and they've spent thousands of dollars and didn't get any value, that we're a little, trigger shy. What's the word? You know what I'm trying to say, right? We aren't so free to whip out our credit card and be like, sign me up for that, because we were worried that it's not going to work. We may also worry that I've bought in programs in the past and I haven't finished them or I haven't applied. So why is this one going to be any different? That's more about your audience than it is you. And so what you often will have to do is let them have a small win. Teach them the first step, the first piece of what is in your program. This also goes back to what Mary Beth asked about promoting feels, I don't like bragging about my results. Help them get a result right now. Help them know what action can they take. They'll go and take that action and they'll be like, oh my gosh, this worked. This helped. Jamie just helped me. And then that makes them go, what would it be like to take her whole program? Like, she's giving me this much for free. Imagine what happens if I take Ignite. What if I go through that whole program? What if I join her membership? How much more is there and how much more value am I going to get? You, in essence, prove to them that you're not a scam, that you're not going to rip them off, that they are going to get results. Okay. So juicy content matters. Now, I will tell you again, in my Go Live League call that we did just before this, we talked about this, and sometimes it's not even that the content's not juicy. It's that your marketing around it is not juicy. And what happens there sometimes is we get in our own heads and we have all of this knowledge and we know what these people need. And so we're starting to talk about and market to that. And we're missing talking to where they're at right now and the pain point that they're at, what it is that they want. And so sometimes it's just a teeny tiny subtle change in how you make the titles and the marketing around your content more juicy. Sometimes that is all it takes to make this whole thing work better. Okay. So one of the things that you can ask yourself is my content getting views? Is it being seen, but I'm not getting comments? That might indicate that you got a content problem. Okay. If you've got a whole bunch of content out there and it's crickets and there's nothing there, then you definitely have a content problem. Okay. So really just do a little bit of an evaluation, go look in your Facebook group and assess that and understand that what you're seeing, this is what that could indicate. Okay. Now, I want to pause here for a second because I want to go back to that Facebook group self-assessment. If you haven't downloaded it, please do. It's a free assessment. It's 20 questions that helps you just assess your Facebook group. I've had a couple people reach out and say, how do I interpret these results? So here's what I want to throw out to everybody. Hold on, I had a slide here for this. Okay, here's what I want to share with all of you. If you need help interpreting those results, post them in the group. If that's just like, oh, heck no, I don't want anybody to see that stuff, then message them to me. Take your phone, photograph it, send it to me and be like, what does this mean? What does this say? There's a section in that assessment for you to look at what are the gaps based on your scores and what things do you want to work on. Just snap that piece if you don't want to snap, the scoring. And I'll help you. I'll give you a tip or two. If you really would like to book a consult call, 15 minutes, we'll get on the phone and I'll help you kind of interpret it. But I will tell you, we're also going to talk about what it would be like to work with me in whatever capacity to help you strategize and fix the things that you're seeing there. Okay. So just wanted to throw that out there as an option if that is something you're interested in. Okay. All right. So back to number 6, your content isn't juicy enough. Now, this could really just apply in general to your Facebook group. It's not juicy enough. And that's a whole other thing one of the things that we cover inside of Ignite, which is, again, back to that very first one. What is in it for your members? What are they getting out of this Facebook group? If you can't explain that, if you can't clearly communicate it, that's part of the problem. It's not juicy enough. It's not something people want. It's not a group people want to be part of, hang out in. So this juicy thing is an issue. I feel like I could take this whole juicy thing and do like a whole marketing campaign around it. Oh my gosh. I'm like even imagining like a photo shoot. How fun would that be? Anyway, I'm on a tangent. All right. Let me see if there are any questions before we go to number 7. Hold on here. Oh, I hate this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. I don't see any more questions. I think you guys are good. Okay. If you got questions, comment. Just know I'm in StreamYard, so I can't see them here. So I got to do it this awkward way, and that makes me crazy. Okay. Number 7, last one. Not enough variety. What do I mean by that? Okay. What can happen sometimes is that we go, ooh, I did this thing and I got a lot of engagement on that thing. So I'm going to just do that. Okay. So let me give you an example. My lives, when I do these lives, I get a lot of views, a lot of comments. The engagement is off the chart. And so one can be tempted to say, oh my gosh, if one live does that, how about if I go live every single day of the week? Oh, yeah, that's the answer. No, that's not the answer. That's too much. You got to have a mix. Not everybody likes those lives. You need variety. You need different things for people to do, different posts, different looks, different feels, different styles. You got to have a mix. And that's where having a content strategy plan matters. Okay. There's one thing to say, I know what I post. I got to plan what I post, but is it strategic? Is there thought behind it? Those are some of the things that you want to make sure that you think about. Okay. So it's one of the questions that inevitably comes up here is, yeah, but if I do this kind of post, it doesn't get as many comments as when I do this kind of post. Okay. So what's happening here is you are way too caught up in those metrics. You are making content decisions based on vanity metrics. And instead, what you have to realize is that a complete content strategy gives something for everyone. Different people learn different ways. Different people like different posts. In fact, how about we do this? Okay, for those of you that are on with me live, I was just looking to see how many people we have. And I gotta get my this ready. Okay. What is your favorite type of social media post? So for example, do you like polls? Do you like long form text? Do you like live videos? Do you like reels? Do you like color block posts? Do you like photos? Which is your favorite? Type it in the comments. I want to see what you guys come up with. What is your favorite kind of post? So like when you are in bed at night or you're on your comfy couch and you're going through, what types of posts make you stop and look? Think about that. Let's see what kind of comments we get. There's a huge delay here between StreamYard and what you all are seeing in Facebook. So I gotta be patient and I'll wait for you to put some answers in. My guess is we're gonna get different answers. And I suspect if I asked you, if you only had that in your feed from how many billions of people that are on Facebook, would that make you happy? And my guess is your answer is going to be no, because you're going to get bored with it. Yes, you might have a favorite type of content, but if that's all you ever see, It gets boring, really boring, really fast. Well, that happens to your audience as well. So having this mix of and variety of different posts, you are mixing it up. People sometimes need to see things different ways, and you are engaging more of the people inside of your community. Okay, so hopefully you're with me on that. Okay, so my action for you here is go and take a look at your content strategy. If you need a little bit of revamp, let's have a conversation about that. But add one new thing into your mix. Pick one and start adding it in. Say, you know what? I haven't done polls in a while. I'm going to do a poll once a week. So make a decision to add some variety into your social media mix. You can still talk about the same things, just do it in a different way. Okay. All right. What questions do you have about any of these 7 things? Let's go back and do a review. I'm going to go back and we're going to review all 7 from the very beginning. Okay. So number 1, and by the way, what I'm wanting you to do is if you have questions, this is the perfect opportunity to ask them. If you are watching on replay, you still want to drop the questions because I'll come back and answer them even after the fact. Okay. So number 1, making sure that you have a clear purpose for them, that you can clearly communicate it. You know exactly what they're going to achieve by being in your group. Number 2, you have a strategy for growing your group. You are regularly adding new members all the time into your Facebook group, and you know exactly how to do that. Number 3, you are being consistent. You are consistently showing up. You are not doing a couple of posts and then you go 3 weeks with nothing. Consistent action matters. Imperfect action, in fact, is even better than nothing else. That consistency, so important. Okay, number 4, you got to have balance between being an authority and showing off your expertise and creating engagement for your audience. You got to have a mix in there. Okay. Number 6, talk about your stuff. The more you talk about your offers, you're going to get more comfortable and people are going to be more aware. Talk about your offers. Okay. I will say this. I know I saw a couple of comments that people said, this is hard for me. This is a struggle for me. If that is something that you need a little bit of help on, book a power boost with me. You can book a 30-minute call and I'll help you with this very, very quick thing. Okay. Okay. So that was number 5. Number 6, not juicy. It's boring. It's generic. It is not enough value and there's not enough actual win or accomplishment that is happening. Okay. And finally, number 7, don't got enough mix. It's boring. It's the same old every single time. You want to mix that up a little bit. So those are the 7. Let's go back to this. The 7 most common Facebook group mistakes to avoid. And I will tell you, those are the ones that I was making in my own Facebook group 2 years ago. And that is what led me to kind of create the gears. You've all seen the gears. I don't know if I have it in front of me. I cleaned out my desk and I don't have all my stuff in there. There are 6 strategies that you've got to get turning and working in order to move your Facebook group forward. If you're only working on one, like content, it's not enough to move the whole thing forward. You got to get all of those parts and pieces. So this list of 7 gives you a pretty good idea of some of those things that you need to be working on. All right. That was a good review. Let me check and see if there are any questions. Hang on here. All right. Let's go through this. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions. No questions. All right. So here's your homework. You ready? I want to know. I want you to put it in the comments because the act of typing this out is going to help hold you accountable. It makes it real. It's not just this idea you have in your head that you're like, yeah, maybe I'm going to do that. But when you write out the plan, it's like it locks it in. Okay. So what strategy are you going to apply to help correct any one of these 7 mistakes that you might be making? You don't have to correct all 7 tomorrow. Just pick one strategy, one thing that you're going to work on. Drop it in the comments. If there's anything I can do to help you with that, you let me know. All right. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Before I wrap us up, a couple of call outs. This next week, we're going to get more into content. We are going to talk about why and how to put live video at the center of your social media strategy. Now, we're specifically going to talk about groups, but honestly, this can apply if you're posting on your profile, your page, anywhere else. Okay. Why does putting live video at the center of that strategy make so much sense? And how does it help you and help your audience? So that's next week. The week after that, we're going to talk about content pillars. There has been so much buzz. I've gotten so many people questioning, like, I don't understand this idea of content pillars. What are you talking about? How do I use it? It's actually a piece of my Spark program. Spark is Spark Your Social Strategy. It's all about how do you plan and execute on your social media strategy, everything that we're talking about today, which also, by the way, that same concept is part of Ignite. I'm gonna pull out that piece. I'm gonna give it to you for free. So see what I'm doing right here? I'm giving real value, real stuff that people want, juicy content. I'm pulling this little piece out of my existing programs. I'm going to give it to you for free. One, it's going to help you. In and of itself, it's going to help you. But what it also does is it helps you say, oh my gosh, this was so good. I want more. Maybe I do want to take Jamie's program. See how that works? Okay. After we do content pillars, then we're going to get into using your personal profile for business. So many of you have asked me to redo this one, so we're gonna do it. I don't know if 2 sessions are gonna get it done, so we're gonna have to prioritize, but we're gonna get it in there for sure. All right, so that's what's coming. That's what you can expect from me inside this space in the month of June. All right, let me make sure there's no more questions before I wrap us up. Oh, I lost you here. Where'd my comments go? Okay, let's see here. You guys are excited about this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't know if oh, see this. Okay, let me just point this out and then I'll wrap us up here for the day. What I want you to see is these comments right now. These comments right now. This is how you know you're putting together juicy content. When you start talking about here's what's planned, here's what's coming, and you have people commenting, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this. Yay, yes, awesome, I'll be there. Blah. Right? What are they doing? They are likely getting out their glitter pens, getting on their calendar and making a note because I don't want to miss that. That's when you know you got juicy content. It's actual content that people want, that they find value in, that actually helps them with whatever their goals and objectives are for their business or their personal life. Okay? So, lesson in there. All right? Okay. I do not see any other comments. Why do I keep doing this? Okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to say in wrapping up. My whole goal in doing this 2-part session, which by the way, thank you all for being part of this with me. I would love to know what value you got out of these 7 mistakes. And did I hit the mark on serving up juicy content with this 2-part series? But what I'm hoping is that you will learn from these mistakes. I think so often I know I learn best from the mistakes I make. I love the idea of failing forward. But more than that, what I hope is that I'm able to give you these tips and tricks. And by sharing the mistakes that I make, you don't have to go through them. And maybe you have to still go through them, but you go through them faster. You don't have to try and figure out what in the heck to do. You've got resources and ideas and suggestions so that you can move through that mistake faster. I gave an analogy the other day that everybody really loved, and that is your Facebook group is sort of like a puppy. Okay. Now, first of all, who doesn't like puppies? But even if you don't have a puppy, have never had a puppy, there's something wonderful about puppies, but that is not my point here today. My point here today is that a puppy is very different than a house plant. Okay. You can get a house plant and you just basically got to water it every once in a while. Maybe make sure that it's sitting in the sun and then you just forget about it. Okay. A Facebook group is not like a house plant. You can't just set it up and be like, where are all my people? You have to drive that. You have to create all of that. You have to do things just like with a puppy. You have to take care of it. You have to nurture it. You have to take it on walks. You have to train it. You have to give it things. You have to play with it. You have to on and on and on and on and on. All the things you do with a puppy. You've got to do that with your Facebook group. As I said, we wrapped up the last cohort of Ignite. Was it this week? Yes, Tuesday. And I asked everybody to share their biggest takeaways, their biggest ahas. And we got into this one little discussion someone had shared that they noticed that when they are consistently applying the things that they've learned inside of Ignite, or the things that you've learned from me here in these videos, it works. They get traction. The problem is that when they take their eye off it, that's when it doesn't work. It's not a house plant, y'all. Facebook groups are going to take consistent action and focus. They are a lot of work. Okay? I'm not saying it's a ridiculous amount of work. I'm not saying that it's an impossible amount of work. I'm just saying it's work. But when you do the right things in the right way, the payoff is amazing. It's amazing. And I know that because I've done it. I turned this very dead Facebook group around into Facebook group of my dreams. And you are all part of that. So if I can do it, if I can help other clients do it, I can help you do it. But I want you to really just walk away with this idea of you got to put the work in order to get the reward and the benefits out. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have an awesome weekend if I don't talk to you. And I'll see you next week, right? Bye, everybody.